Absolutely, I would not agree to having any CIA officer carrying out waterboarding.
All right, what the director was saying then, that if a president of the United States called on him to institute waterboarding to get information out of suspected terrorists or those who might be concocting something horrible like another 9/11, he wouldn't do it. To retired Lieutenant Colonel, former Congressman Alan West. Alan, what do you think of that?
Well, first of all, it's good to be with you, Neil, and I think that Mr. Brennan is talking about a hypothetical that will never occur. He's the CIA director under a president that is more interested in releasing unlawful enemy combatants from Guantanamo Bay than detaining them there. So he doesn't have to worry about that order coming down, and I don't think he'll be in that office continuing on. But I think the real concern that we have are twofold. First of all, how do we protect our CIA agents to make sure no international court can go after them for any decisions that we make about domestic American security and intelligence gathering? And then the second thing, you have seen an incredible proliferation of these unlawful enemy combatants, these Islamic jihadist groups in the past 7 to maybe 10 years. So what are we going to do with them? How do we define who they are? How do we define their disposition on the battlefield? Because right now, our men and women on the ground are not allowed to kill them because of the rules of engagement. And even if we do capture them, then we're not detaining them. So I think that is really the two big points we have to look at going forward.
Colonel, if you'll indulge a few dumb questions of mine, and you've always patiently done so over the years, is waterboarding illegal? We cannot do it?
Well, I think you should ask Demi Moore, because they use waterboarding on her in the movie G.I. Jane. And we know that in our surveillance, escape,
no, but
or
that was a movie. Good movie.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent movie. But even in our training of our special operators and our pilots, that is something that is used to teach them to withstand psychological intimidation.
But do we do equivalent things then, Colonel? I guess what I'm getting at is other ways to extract information that might be painful, that might be very uncomfortable. It might offend some, but it's torture to get information.
With Manuel Noriega, we play rock music very loud. So I don't know what people want to see happen. Maybe we should tickle.
So that would be like me listening to MSNBC 24/7. It would probably
could be considered torturous.
I would start eating vegetables. I see. Let me ask you though then about the fallout from all of this, because you know the scary world far better than I. You fought for this country bravely, admirably, and I'm wondering if you're the bad guys, to Donald Trump's point, and they're cutting off heads and doing God knows what, and just over the weekend, you know, killing more than a dozen kids just playing soccer in Iraq.
Yeah.
And that was perpetrated by a kid. The world must know, the bad guys of the world must know, well, when it comes to the United States, they're going to do squat. So we might just have free reign to do whatever the hell we want.
Well, I think that is why the person that occupies 1600 Pennsylvania has those tough decisions to make, because he is entrusted with the safety and security of the American people. And I think when you come down to, do we want to see another Paris? Do we want to see another Belgium, Brussels? Do we want to see another San Bernardino? This is a new era that we are in with these non-state, non-uniform belligerents that you have just said. They don't have any rules. They don't have any borders. They don't have any boundaries. So we're going to have to rethink, how do we deal with this enemy? Like I said, what do we do with them on the battlefield? What is the disposition? And first of all, how do we even define them? Like I said, they're unlawful enemy combatants. So what type of treatment should they get? They certainly should not be lawyered up and have their day in court.
So in other words, bad guys know that if it comes to retribution in the United States, the worst you'll have to deal with is have your Miranda rights read to you, right?
That's absolutely right. And that shows that we are looking at this as a law enforcement endeavor and not a war, not a conflict. And I think that that's something clearly that has to be defined. What is this 21st century battlefield? It's not a war against terrorism, because terrorism is a tactic. It's a war against Islamic jihadism. And we have to clearly define this enemy and the dispositions and how we're going to deal with them. We can't give them gaps to be exploited.
Alan West, thank you, sir. I appreciate it as always.